First, oh, the Harmonic Trader. You can download it, the PDF free. That's on Basic Members page. All the books are available on the Basic Members page. It's probably the place to start. Harmonic Trader, the end of 1998, around September 98. I'll let that one fly. So that's really what started it all. So definitely check that out. You can just, once you log in, click, you'll get to the PDF and start there. That's actually a good primer. Why not just show this? You know, I don't really go into this too much, but here's Harmonic Trader. This is the first book that's really set it off. A lot of really good basic TA stuff that I wanted to use as a primer for the level and the analysis of the patterns. But, you know, this is the book that really, you know, put together the numbers in a way that hadn't been done. And for me, it was just stuff that was working. Yeah, you can get it on Amazon. People are selling used copies of some of it for like $100 or $200. I don't know why, but I think you can get it cheaper elsewhere. But take a look at that one. If you're not aware of the Harmonic Trader, I guess the big thing about this book was simply the definition of the Gartley pattern that really set it off. And the big thing really was the essential differentiation of the M&W structures at the B point, and essentially looking at the B point at a 618 with an M or W, and then analyzing the zone. So I guess that was the other thing about the Harmonic Trader that was relatively new, was the layered zone concept of these type of measurements combined. A guy like Bob Miner was doing things with Elliott Wave, and some other people were doing Elliott Wave stuff, but M&W structures with the ratios and the ABCDs, it was just something that chocolate and the peanut butter, if you will, was working quite well, and just repeating over and over, and that started it. The interesting thing about this in this book was I didn't talk about bat pattern or crab pattern. That did not come until 2 or 3 years later in volume 1. This one was looking at M&W formations, the extension pattern, where W, my original definition, was a 127 or a 1618. But as I learned and shared with everyone else, that best butterflies come with a 127. So take a look at that. That's the Harmonic Trader. Can't believe that thing is like 23 years old already. How much does a roll of volume play in any harmonics? Well, actually, take a look. One strategy that I highlighted in that book was looking at volume exhaustion, and that's common. Here's a perfect case where can't believe Broad Vision from what, 1999, or sorry, 1998 or 97, had this massive exhaustion. And for me, that's about the clearest way at a pattern completion point you can look at volume. So take a look at that. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff in there. But the real one that I think everyone is a must read is the volume 1. So check that out, because that's got all the pattern differentiation. That's really where it all came together. And again, the bat, the crab, all that kind of stuff is essential knowledge that you have to get it. You have to understand those basics so that you understand your zone concepts. Hold on one second, folks. I think I'm having an invasion. Are you kidding me? Yeah, check that stuff out. Listen, today I want to talk about a specific setup, a specific strategy that I've been highlighting, but working incredibly well in our favorite crypto space. And that is the complex setup with an HSI called complex return, with HSI. So I want to kind of highlight some of the situations that have been happening where something explodes in crypto, pauses, and then comes back. And I have talked about this scenario many times, and I'm going to highlight one of those that we looked at last week, week before. And I think my favorite time frame for these larger swing moves is like a 4 hour. You can look at it on an hourly as well. But it comes down to pretty much just looking for the complex structure, the M formation we have been talking about that has been pinpointing a lot of ideal setups. And goes outside the realm of patterns. So I absolutely want to kind of start there and say that this actually simplifies the process in terms of if you're new to harmonic patterns. I think this strategy gives you a really fine sense of how to wait for extremes, how to identify different conditions, and then look for those pullbacks, look for those triggers to ride these trends. And some of the cryptos that we have featured recently, such as EOS, did that last week. And that whole complex return sets up like this. Let me show you the diagram. Here's the diagram. Let's go to that on the bearish side. And I first use this really as a reaction technique. But what we want to look for simply is that M formation form first. And actually, sometimes that's the easiest. That's actually a lot easier to do and to wait for because the obvious moonshot is happening in crypto and then does the pullback and then gives us the ideal opportunity. So what we're seeing time and time again is the big surge up, okay, completely through the roof. Matic is another one I'll look at in a second. And we get some kind of explosion up. That sets up the whole thing. I mean, that is, that's kind of the marker where that then becomes on the radar. Even if it spikes up in a moonshot, it is the corresponding retest where once we peak out and we get this with, let me do it this way. We get this with in the amplified RSI is best. This can be RSI, and RSI is usually going to take longer, but amplified RSI, which is what we use in the software, will give us these situations time and time again. M formation in the extreme does the correction, and then it sets up for another move lower where we come up to anticipate that retest. And again, I've said this time and time again, we are getting these blow-off moves. We should be expecting at a minimum some kind of hold on one second, guys. Yeah. Okay, one second. All right, so we want to, there you go. So again, here's, that's EOS, that was from last week. Ideal setup. And then the final piece is let that come all the way down. And as soon as that registers, we're looking for HSI in that area. It's not happening in every instance, but in the ones that are, this is EOS, perfect, and actually came back for a secondary retest, still set up here. I mean, this consolidation phase in EOS is just pausing before the next move higher. Here's one, Polygon. Polygon was, now Matic. Did that very setup again in the last 2 weeks, our last 2 sessions. Huge move up. Take a look. I mean, this is kind of the giveaway move. And again, a lot of these are doing this. Big surge up, and that's like the giveaway. You might say, all right, I missed it, and I'm going to give up on this. But actually, that's when you get yourself ready, because this simple technique of saying, look, here is the M formation. M kind of looks like this. There you go, with the whole thing up above. comes back down, comes all the way down to the zone there. Now, I've said this before, you can definitely sketch out patterns, just in the same way that we look at price structures, that if we're looking for, we see an M or W formation in the indicator, yeah, I'm not surprised to see that do a full retest to the extreme, but it's at that point where then we take off. Start here, and you start looking to the right here. That sets it up. So, and Matic clinched that and triggered that. Let me go to the regular candles here. Took a pause and another leg higher. Let me do one or two more. Litecoin. Oh no, here you go. Here's one that I'm looking at right now. Is this LRC loop ring? Okay, did one. This is I think this is the hourly, but check this out. Perfect, same deal. Massive surge up like a double. Come back on a 50% correction, and then back down. And we have an HSI here in the same area. Take a look at, let me change that color so we can see it. Take a look at that. M formation comes down. Look at the red line. That goes on the software. Where the green line stops, that's the confirmation. And this is really simple signaling. I mean, that's something where, again, I think anybody that's looking at the software, any of these cryptos can catch your eye. I mean, again, we're all following them. Everyone's talking about the same group of cryptos that are running hard. So get those on your radar. I mean, obviously, DOGE is another one, although I'm not that crazy about it right now. But that was one that came back and did a couple legs. LRC setting up just like that. This KNC, another one. Again, we just need to look for these M formations. I did mention this one last week, came all the way back, and now it's up there on the almost at the overbought side, but we haven't even triggered HSI in any regard. So this setting up, looking for just these minimum 886 retests, but you go from 280, 290 back up to 360. That's a 30% move. Is there a general length where this gets invalid? If your HSI signal fails, that's really the thing to look for. Let me see. Let me go to the Matic one. Oh no, let me go to Litecoin because that's another one where that's on an hourly. That triggered recently a couple of HSIs, but no, my fault. It was Bitcoin Cash. Huge thrust up. And Bitcoin Cash is another one. Actually, we get a pattern there too. But just, again, draw your eye to this complex structure, that M formation. And that this is our amplified RSI indicator. You can do this on standard RSI. You can do this on any platform. We've just had it set up for this with the highlights that make it easy. So there's Bitcoin Cash, and it did that move up to 1600. That's just a phenomenal 25-30% move off that spike low. Comes all the way back down. Okay, great. That's what we want to see. Look, we've been talking about this forever. As this stair steps its way higher in terms of long-term trend, Bitcoin Cash, we know. We've been talking about this going to 3,000. Still my target, 3,000. Let me get a different feed. I think that's the Coinbase feed. Yeah, let's look at the perpetual contract. Let's look at Kraken as well. Take a look. And again, I've said this a lot of times, we're targeting for all of these all-time ranges from 2017, all of them, we are targeting minimum 886 pullbacks if they haven't gotten there yet. We saw that in Litecoin. We saw that in just about all the ones that were predominant in the last few years. Here's another one. Here's Dash long term. Another one coming back. That's just remarkable. Now, if we know this stuff's got a likelihood to run big and at least do the moonshot within the range against 2017's high to low, here's Dash. The looking for that complex return setup is a great way to be targeting pullbacks that have something to them. Let me show you what I mean. Go to your 4-hour time frame. Let's pull it up. Every time this thing comes back, here's Dash with a complex structure. You get and you get the HSI trigger. And look at the last one that happened back in April. Right up here. Price action down. You have an M formation, your red line goes on. I mean, I'm just trying to simplify it. Why? Because you want to be positioning yourselves on the not only the break, but after a lot of times that green line, that will end, that will mark the confirmation point, and then you get an arrow, HSI. That's what that means. I'm really just trying to highlight some kind of dumbed down signals, not necessarily to to make it stupid. It's just to facilitate our perception of where the opportunity is. We get a big thrust like that and we get that complex structure, that sets up the likelihood of the continuation move. I've been talking about that in so many situations over the last several weeks where we anticipate that return. And that can be powerful because we know that that's just a correction in an uptrend. And it really locates the trade. It locates the continuation point. That's the way to think about it. Again, with Harmonic Pattern Collection, this is for TradingView. We simply are waiting, looking for those setups. And I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. Probably the easiest way to do it is just add an alert, go on your 4-hour time frames, go across the board on all your cryptos, and just trigger, send yourself an email. Just right click on the chart, set it up. You can send yourself an email here. And every time you have a 4-hour chart, a 4-hour signal, you kick it out. So again, it's something that as I develop the new site and bring out that RSS feed, those signals of blasting them out for kind of public domain is where I want to get to. But as long as we have that complex structure preceding it, that's where we start. That's where we look for the continuation. Let's look at really quick Cardano, because it's doing its move off of, and this is an interesting spot where go to, was it daily time frame? Yeah, it was. The daily time frame preceded this, but even on that last 4-hour time frame as well, Cardano has started here, came all the way back down to the oversold, and triggered back up. I think on the 1-hour time frame, it just did it yesterday. Yep. And with a bullish pattern right there, that sell-off 2 days ago preceded it. And here is the HSI arrow, actually right there. So again, M formation in the RSI goes all the way to oversold. This is amplified. Look at it on standard RSI. If you don't have Harmonic Pattern Collection, just look for this on RSI and then come back to me and send me a note. Send me your TradingView username and I'll give you an access code to get access to this. Because for me, this has been fantastic in positioning a number of the bigger moves that I've been involved with this year. And of course, Ethereum. So Ethereum had that big dump. Take a look at amazing crab pattern. And this is a type 2, but take a look. Really remarkable complex structure. M formation right down there to the oversold. And look, the last 3 times on Ethereum did this. Now, two of them gave you a signal. So that's the other thing to take note of, is that we really want to be true to the confirmation. Take note of what happened. That got oversold, but M formation in your amplified RSI or whatever RSI you're going to use. Red line goes on. Why? Because that goes to the 50. The red line goes on and goes to the 50. It bottoms out, oversold, and HSI corresponds. So just link up the arrow. Linking up the arrow, our current support going forward is generally 3,800. And then having the crab pattern and another formation that just got retested yesterday, really significant. I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't go to all-time new highs. Earth is flat. Not in the harmonic world. Can't be. And I think that's going to be busted here in a couple of years. Anyway, here's the, I'll review the Polygon thing, thematic. Take a look at that. Where'd that go? There you go. Now that's overstretched, and actually what you want to see here, you want to see this come back up. You want to see Matic form another complex structure. I don't think it's done by any stretch of the imagination. It's just that you are at a couple of interesting points right now on Matic on the 1 hour. What you would want to see here is a complex structure come up and then go down, all right, and set you up for another one next week. But right now, we're at an area where we're at the type 2 of a crab. Really nice crab. It's overstretched the retest, but again, there's the type 1 reaction, comes back for the retest because, look, you have an HSI arrow. We're just trying to position ourselves in those extremes. Even better with a pattern there. We can use that pattern because we expect the retest. In this case, target 2 was the low at 94.84. There's one or two more. Like, was it Maker? Yeah, Maker here did another retest. Now, this has already registered a couple overbought readings, but I would be look at the 4 hour here on Maker. Okay, this is setting up again for a retest to go back to the all-time highs at 52. It's at 5,200 right now, but check it out. Perfect deep crab. Goes up to the 1618, a little bit overshoot. Comes back down. Now, what's up here? I'm sure we have an indicator up here, probably a complex structure. Yeah, red line goes on. It's tough to see it, but red line goes on here and comes back down, and with an accompanying HSI. So for Maker, maybe we go sideways like we've seen in a lot of those instances, but anywhere in that, what's that, 4,500, 4,600 should be your absolute low, and get ready for another trigger where we go back and retest not only the prior high, but the hop level at 6750. Oh, here's another one that I wanted to highlight. In that zone, the intraday trading requires, I think, an intensity more so than swing. But as we've seen, with something like this strategy I'm showing everyone, really simple identification of this kind of consolidation and anticipating the return on a 4 hour chart or a 1 hour chart is more like swing trading behavior, a swing trading style. Take a look at Aave. Aave was another one. And look, the red line goes on. We had a complex structure preceding that. Came all the way back down. There's the completion of the oversold. Lines right up with HSI. Now, this is something I've been working on for a while, and I want to automate. I want to change that arrow to something different. I think I've got it now, and I just really want to pound this home. and show everyone the basics. So when I release the updated signal, because this HSI arrow is a special trigger, maybe I make that a star or something, but that's where I will take that simple indicator setup and use that as a super special signal for major trend continuations. XRP. All right. Yep. I'll look at that. And let's shoot on through. And if folks, a couple more, if you want to look at some things, let me know. Pop them in. XRP, another one where we had the complex structure. That's what, 4-hour chart. Again, I think we all can see this M formation in the overbought comes down to the oversold reading. That's where we start looking. In this instance, look, XRP right now has bearish pattern, just consolidating, following that massive bat. If we can come down one more, complete this bat pattern, one more retest at a buck, that should then set it off for the daily, which again, we've pointed this out. The daily on XRP looks phenomenal, and take a look at what we have. XRP on the daily has that complex structure. Okay, M formation coming all the way down. If we get an oversold reading one more time, and maybe one more HSI reading, maybe at a buck or a $1.10, that would be the major signal, and that's a daily time frame. Take a look at the weekly level. As I've said before, here's another all-time range in XRP, just lining up and targeting its all-time 886. That's where all of these are going. You have to just book it. That's at 295. But along the way, we're getting phenomenal thrust, pullback. These are all tradable. And I suggest looking at those complex structures on 4-hour or 1-hour time frames. Identify them, and if you get a pattern that lines right back up with it, like what we have on XRP right now, probably better than a better exchange than Kraken. XRP futures or Tether. Yeah, there you go. So keep an eye on XRP. I think by next week, come back down, maybe one more retest. I think that's pretty good. Look at H bar. Okay, I'll go to H bar. Hey, by the way, I saw Mitch's insane tip war yesterday. If you guys didn't see that, go to Mitch Ray TA. It was the craziest. It was a phenomenal session. Mitch, you've been in front of this H bar. There you go. Guess what, guys? Another complex structure. H bar's got that same setup here. Big thrust up, big thrust up. How many situations have I been highlighting in today's stream about that? Big thrust up, come all the way back down. Now that's really close to registering on the oversold. Let me look at the 4-hour time frame. Again, 4-hour time frame I think is great for this kind of analysis. Better than the daily, you're going to get more signals. So where does that oversold end? Yeah, we got one here on all the way down, oversold on that right before that last run. What's that, yesterday? Before a further move higher. So that's setting up. Again, I would look for that, a retest, or if not, just keep on going, do another 1618 move. That kind of reminds me of Cardano a little bit before the move. Yeah. Yeah, tip jar. I'll get there. I don't know what I'm going to do, guys. I think after what I saw last night, Mitch, I think I have to change my whole business model. I almost wanted to quit and retire my website after I saw that. I thought I was doing it all wrong. Can you give me some more information about the HPC Lite, HPC Pro versions? Sure, and thanks for asking. HBC Lite, again, that's what we're looking at here on the TradingView platform, which most of everyone's using these days. Is remarkable, and it's going to do all the patterns. Now, one of the things about this is that you're going to get the patterns that will generate after they're completed. That's something with the Pinecrest script, Pinecrest, the Pine script that is unavoidable. It's just their limitation in what they offer. Trying to find a 5-minute. Let me just show a 5-minute pattern here. Okay, and this is all automatic. So a lot of how to handle these are included in the videos that we give you, because you have to understand how the reaction reversal dynamic works to get the most out of what you're looking for. So again, the program, this is the light version. Why? Because we don't have the scanner, we don't have all of our other features that we have, like an e-signal, MetaTrader, all of those that have scanners and a couple other bells and whistles. So I don't think it's, I throw this out to everybody that you should absolutely send me your username if you haven't tried it. And the thing that I really feel like, folks, I've been able to do with the software is to detect what's a true harmonic pattern. And it's not, I'm trying to move to Pinecrest, by the way, potatoes. I'm doing nothing but looking at houses right now. I'm getting priced out of Pinecrest quickly. That's why I said I had Pinecrest on my mind. Scott, do you know any weather forecasters? No. I don't know. There's a couple down here in Miami. Pretty good. But seriously, folks, the thing to take away from this is that, and my honest opinion of exactly what is an actionable harmonic level is not always going to be the extreme high and low, or although that's a great standard way to go. And what I've tweaked this program for years to kind of detect and really unlock the reversal reaction reversal framework. And even look at, here's ADA. And this one just did a type 1, type 2 in the last couple of hours. So the software and all of them will show these patterns. But it's up to you to just recognize, is it the first time it's tested? Did it go to target 1? Is it the second time we look for a larger move? And that all starts with our terminal bar signal. And then we look for, again, that first reaction to target 1. Now, the profit objectives as well, I feel like we've optimized them to the point where they're extremely accurate to give you the most out of every move. Because look, the first time a pattern completes as marked by the terminal bar, that little sun icon, we look for target 1. We come back for the retest. When we get back up there, the secondary test is target 2. So by definition, the principle is every harmonic pattern, and especially in crypto, has 2 opportunities. That's what I see over and over again. That's what you should expect. And if you expect that, then you know what to anticipate. I'll go to one more. And again, because I covered it so much, I'm kind of leaving it behind me. But DOGE is a real pain in the ass, quite frankly. Real pain. This one did the type 1, type 2 framework. Look at the hourly. Let's go back to the crab we looked at last week. Perfect crab pattern. Came up. Perfect reaction. Came back down for type 2. And then it overshot the third retest. So there was your type 2. And then the final move back up was about it. And I told everyone clear out at about 60, 65 cents, and then came all the way back. Now what do we have? Well, we had a smaller ABCD pattern. Again, see how this stuff is really reactive? First move. Like, look at that. Big reaction move. But our best patterns are coming on the secondary tests. That comes back up, Bang. You're already there. You've got an HSI. On Doge, look, I'm going to wait. I think it's got a lot of work to do. Clearly, it survived that last test. It's trying to make a higher low and continue higher. We do have a complex structure that lined up here. Okay. So I'm not denying any of that. It was fairly ideal back on that last test. I just got fairly nervous when it cracked under 37. And I do think, yeah, you're back up there. We're in the retest for the 886 move. So well done. It's just not one I'm going to catch. I basically turned my attention to Ethereum and Cardano. Does it matter which time frame I look the harmonic patterns on? I think that's another great question. And that really comes down to what's your time frame as a trader. I think you go to a 30-minute or an hourly is probably pretty good for crypto. Why? Because you need that much time to have the distance to be a tradable distance, a realistic trade. So something like, let me go to, oh, you know what? Here's Mana. And this was a good one. Back a little ways. Decentraland. Okay, we're right now doing kind of like a looping type 2 on Decentraland. And again, it looks really sloppy, but this just exemplifies the type 1 reaction, come all the way back down, thorough retest, hard retest, but around 122 on that looks good. Also, take a look again what happened here. And this has really been our theme for the day. Look at this complex structure up here, comes all the way down to the oversold, registers oversold, and registers HSI. So Mana, 130, 125 area, I think it's fair game. Doge exceeds my risk tolerance, just my opinion. I agree with that. I think Binance, if you look at the top 5 or 10, and if you were to put Binance Coin or Doge in front of me, I would take Binance Coin every time. And yeah, go for it, Elon. I mean, go for it, man. Go for it, Elon. I feel like I caught most of the move. If Doge triples from here, I think Cardano or Ethereum will easily do that. Steve Buscemi. Yeah, it is Steve Buscemi. It's the Steve Buscemi of crypto. That's hilarious. Yeah, you know what? Look, everything that we're doing is measuring, and everything we do is differentiating these indicator structures, utilizing M&W formations. That's it. And that creates certain expectations. We layer amplified HSI, a basic understanding harmonic patterns. Then you know where to expect the larger moves. I mean, again, something like Matic, phenomenal, but it's setting up for a pullback. We're at the hop. I would be done with Matic. There's nothing there. You're at a secondary retest of a bearish pattern about to confirm. So we'll wait for it, but there's a lot of things that say, okay, that next pullback down, we might get a good shot at another long. Yep. So listen, I think that's, if you look at the XLM, same thing applies at the 886. Yeah, listen, that 886 on the bear market low, basically every crypto hit its all-time 886. I wouldn't be surprised if we eventually have every crypto hit its 886 after we bust on the down leg next year or by the end of next year. If there's not going to be a super cycle, expect it. This stuff is moving in a really defined fractal way is the best way to describe it. This stuff is just ping-ponging from levels, and you bring M and W formations into it, you get a really clear picture of what's going on. Ethereum Classic, absolutely. That's another one. Look at that. Just popped, but this is forming an M formation. Again, take a look. Expect that to pull back, come back to the oversold, and register another HSI reading, probably on the retest of lows somewhere around 83. This is doing, check out the pattern we have down here. Really nice crab pattern, okay? This is Ethereum Classic after running from what, $2 to 150, 140, 150, wow, 160. But this is another one where it's already corrected 50%, so let's look for opportunity. And we know we're really close because there's your reaction off the pattern. Come back down. Okay, bang. This is where we first started looking around 85 bucks. Maybe you get one more test down here and then you go. Okay, Solana, I did say I would look at that. Solana, which is getting a lot of buzz, I know. Solana, okay, and really just within the context of today's talk of our complex structures. Still need some time, but you do have a complex structure. Red line went on there, coming all the way back. I would look for one more test, one more HSI, around 41 bucks. Maybe the hourly is a little bit. No, hourly is not really that great. Needs a little more time. What that daily do? Hasn't this thing already exploded? There you go. That's a bit better. Okay, here's Solana, amazing long-term chart. That's a beautiful, amazing uptrend, no doubt. And this is the daily, so check it out. We do have an M formation, and look for this to come down, get oversold, break out of that uptrend, and then go. I think it's really interesting that you're only going sideways. This is Solana. So, hey, that can go sideways. Your indicator can go down and then register it out and trigger for you. That's where we get a 4-hour bullish reading. Another one, yeah, that would be the place to go. That Shiba coin, you guys can have it. Why I don't want to touch stuff like that is because those can eviscerate in days, no matter what. And I know I don't want to get into the whole story, fundamental stuff, but they can get eviscerated, and you just tough to get out. When the stuff goes and you're not selling in advance and you try to get out when it's happening, you're not getting out. That's what happened in the dot-com. The dot-com bust took about 6 weeks. Everything collapsed in that time. GRT, the graph, another one. This is actually looks really good. Your red line went on. You're actually setting up for one more retest, and looks like we have a Gartley bat pattern. That small one there. I kind of like it because take a look. Big moonshot, perfect. And then come on down. Okay, taking more time than anticipated. I don't know why the daily's not registering HSI there. Go to 2-hour, 3-hour time frame. Yes, our last HSI bullish was around 127, 130. So look at it. I do like GRT. I think a lot of people have been talking about that one too, but it's been dead money since it mooned. This is something else I'll share with everybody that I'm going to split. When we see a moonshot, okay, and DOGE was a classic one where I mentioned this, a couple others. It moonshots, okay? You go into your overbought reading and then you roll over, form a complex structure. This is where you just want to bring in the 30 bar rule. If it rolls over like that, you want to wait 30 bars, no matter what. So I would be looking for a signal after it rolls out, but that consolidation is going to take 30 bars in most cases. And so we don't even get a signal usually till after 30 bars. ICX, all right, man, you got me. I don't know, what is this, some garbage? I never heard of that. I don't know what icon. All right, not bad. Nothing on HSI yet, but that's a daily reading. Pretty steady. I mean, that's a nice uptrend, but you got to get going. Maybe you have another retest on amplified. Let's look at the 4-hour. Again, 4-hour time frame for harmonic pattern collection, folks, is really what you want to be looking at. Yeah, around 220. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this just, look, the last 2 months, it has banged between $3 and this 220 area. So wouldn't be surprised to see that kind of come back, do another retest. I think that'll bust out. But let's wrap it up with Bitcoin, okay? Because Bitcoin is the canary. Well, it's not a canary, but is the canary in the coal mine. The canary is Ethereum. Here's what I want to trace out, okay? And here's what I'm looking at. Bitcoin has all those complex properties of this strategy I've been talking about. Why? Because the M formation went on, a red line goes on, it's overbought, but we never got an HSI trigger until over here. That's our first HSI, and that linked up with the collapse to have a secondary reading. So I've been looking somewhere ever since this last HSI signal at 49,000, and I'll still stick to that. I'll stick to 49,000 as the number we want to be looking for long opportunities. I just think we need this. Look, Amplified has a W formation taking shape right now. Not exactly what you want to see. That means, again, more consolidation. It's still okay. And you have a couple of HSIs that link up. All of this means is that this is an extreme. Okay, this is about as far as it can go for now. And I would look for some kind of reflex rally back to 57, 55, 57, somewhere in there, just like a 56,618 as this consolidation works its way. That's all that's going on here in Bitcoin. And again, we even on the daily, look how close. Well, look at what we have here on the daily. We have our red line go on. That's on Bitcoin daily. Coming back down for a secondary test. A lot of really strong indicator here. Strong stabilization. If HSI comes back down one more time, I just screwed that up. Let me just remove. Where'd you go? I just overlapped HSI. Now you can see it anyway. Look, HSI and amplified. Sometimes you can do that. You can overlap, put the indicators on top of each other, but we want to get them to link up. Let me just get that matched. HSI is about to come down, so look, they're really kind of trying to pound out 50,000, but 49 or just under 49 is the number. Yeah, there was some people did mention that there was a crab before the crash on, what was it, the 15-minute chart, 30-minute chart. And that's actually another, something else where you're not going to jump in front of a bearish pattern, or at least you're not going to jump in front of it on the first test. Oh, here it was. That was the continuation crab. Check that out. Some of you guys sent that to me. 57,000, that crab pattern. That all it really was is a 1618 reflex rally. This did a quick move, 1618, bang, and back down. That would be our next resistance, though, and it wouldn't be surprised to see that come back, get retested. So great session today, guys. You got me for longer than I wanted to go, but I'm going to wrap it up now. You have any questions about this? Send me a note, harmonictrader@gmail.com. Sorry, I apologize for the cursing. We just had a troll in here that, I'm dealing with that. I tell it like it is, and I'll kick them out. But everyone else is phenomenal. I appreciate it. Come on back next Friday. You have any questions, get with Harmonic Trader. Go here, become a basic member. Get the books. Just have to sign up. Really easy with an email address. And then take the trial. Try the MetaTrader, folks. Try the MetaTrader program for crypto, because it's everything too. So thanks again. We'll see everybody next week, Friday.